Hello and welcome. This is the podcast I Do What I Want. I am your host, Hollis, and this episode is going to actually be a part two or a continuance, whatever, part deux of my, actually I shouldn't be speaking French while I'm wearing my Italia t-shirt. I'm very sorry. That's my bad. Anyway, so this episode is actually going to be about my self-publishing journey, part two. And that, I did a part one, or I did an episode about this last year. And that was, where I was at that point. And frankly, I've learned a lot since that time and I feel very far in learning about self-publishing and doing it and saving myself from more pitfalls. So as a big reason I have this podcast is to try and help other authors out there, particularly indie authors, who are just, stumbling their way through this whole process like all of us, that I wanted to share and hopefully help you stumble less than I do. So a couple of quick updates before we dive into that. Of course, The Queen Witch, the, thing I've been talking about, the next book in the Rashan series, it would be volume 2 of the Rashan series, To Save a World, is volume 1, is available for pre-order. It's available pretty much anywhere you want to buy books. It's easier to Google my full author name, which is Hollis Jo, J-O, McCullum. And there's no E in my middle name. It's the girl version. And I'm so excited. It's available for pre-order. Most easy to find place, of course, is Amazon. It's available ebook and in and paperback as well. I need to post my video where I got my copy of it recently, and it looks gorgeous. I'm very excited. So I'll be posting, it's on my Instagram, but I'll be posting that to my YouTube shorts, and that's wonderful. So go pre-order it. It gets published officially April 20th. So if you pre-order it now, you could have your book by in 2.5 weeks. I'm very excited. The other thing is To Save a World, the second edition of that, which, same book, but as I've explained before, I'm redoing the whole cover. I've redone the whole interior with the map and all these other things. A big part of my episode 1 of my self-publishing journey, or whatever episode it was. That one had I had a lot of issues with the publisher that I used to publish that first book, but you live, you learn. One of the things is they just wanted to nickel and dime me for every tiny thing I wanted to put in there, even putting a map in my own book that I had drawn for them. But anyway, so that is coming in probably May, actually. I'm still saying May, June, just in case I come across some hiccups. But knowing what I know now about self-publishing, I am foreseeing a much more streamlined process for that. And the other news is that I am actually, and I'll get into this more in the episode, but I am officially publishing with a brand new New York press called 21 Chieftains Press. They are absolutely wonderful. They are mostly focused on poetry and fiction books. It is myself and 2 other authors who are poets who are on it, and I think you should check it out. It's 21 as it numerically written, with 21 chieftanspress.com. And they're wonderful. I have the great privilege of knowing the founder, and which is how I got in at such an early stage. And I will be talking a little bit about how having a publisher logo on your book, even as an indie publisher or an indie author, is really important. So to give the 30-second recap of the episode from last year, just to catch up anyone who didn't listen to it or who doesn't remember it, and that's totally fine. It's a little bit long, so don't worry about going back to that. But the very short recap is that I initially went with, one of those other publishers, basically a vanity press with my very first book. I still owned my ISBN number, which, by the way, always own your ISBN number. No matter what, no one else but you, the author, should own that ISBN number to your own work. FYI. Anyone else says otherwise, they're essentially stealing from you intellectually. So you own that. And then the other thing, which I own that, but it wasn't a good thing. After that, I tried to get traditionally published some more, which is a big mess. Don't worry about it. And I actually came across BookBaby, which is one of the Amazon publishers. Now, they're not the least expensive option. They are fair, I would say, in terms of being a press, because everything is expensive generally, except for what I'm doing now. But I will say I'm still not unhappy with BookBaby, but I won't use them again. I thought I would continue to publish with them, but I learned I didn't need them, essentially. They did everything they promised they would do. I stand by the fact that their customer service is excellent. I will absolutely give them that. They do everything they say they're going to do, but they do charge a pretty big chunk of money to do these things for you. And even though their customer service is really there for you and you can call on people and they give you your own personal rep and yada, yada, yada. And it's very, very easy to use. They even have all of the templates for page layouts and covers, things like that, so that it's very simple for a designer, which, as many of you know, I design book covers as well, my own book covers, as well as a couple other people's book covers. Except for Spare the Swallow, Dio Jensen, who is an extremely talented designer and friend of mine, did the page layout and cover of my book Spare the Swallow. But it's so helpful to have those templates. BookBaby gives you all of it. Basically, you are paying to have your hand fully held with BookBaby. And that's nice, especially when you are, like many indie authors, you have your own personal family life that you're trying to juggle and, make sure that your loved ones, feel loved and have attention while you're working full time and trying to write these books and pursue a whole dream situation. So having somebody there to just hold your hand is awesome. I will say that. I also talked about, and I've talked about this resource in several episodes, Readsy.com. It's an online writers community where you can find literally everything you want. There's so many, I'm sure there are tons of posts about it. I just never read them on Readsy. But it's reedsy.com. Great. It's a free community to join. You just put in your email to have a membership to the website, and you have access to all sorts of very talented editors and just people who can help you with marketing, people who can do design for you, whatever you want. Readsy, the community, has got it. And you just have to take the time to really research and read, which I did not do. They have all the resources. I didn't take all the time to read everything, because if I had, I would have found this sooner. But that is basically what I was talking about then. Shortly after I aired that episode, actually. I don't remember how shortly, but it couldn't have been more than a month. Shortly after I did that, I went to a Barnes & Noble in my area. And like many indie authors, I just approached the store manager and I said, "Hey, I'm a local author. What do I have to do to get my book in your store?" And they were so, so kind. I will say shout out to Spencer at the Barnes & Noble at the Forum here in the Atlanta area in Georgia. They were absolutely wonderful. And they just laid it all out for me. Their wife actually apparently was also an indie author, and they had experienced the pitfalls themselves as well. But this very kind person took the time to sit with me and even write down websites for me, and some book conferences and things that would be beneficial. And they told me about Ingram Spark. Now, I know who Ingram Spark is because the Ingram list, which is ISBN Ingram Spark book number. That's what the ISBN number is. And Ingram Spark is the list of every book that has ever been published in the entire world ever, with that ISBN number. If anywhere in the world, even Amazon, wants to order a book, they need that ISBN number, and that's Ingram Spark. And they have their own self-publisher. They have that you can self-publish directly through Ingram Spark. I did not know that. I didn't know that. You live, you learn. If this manager hadn't told me, it would have taken me a lot longer to figure out. Bless you, Spencer. I'm not even religious. But, whatever your blessings are, they go to you. Basically, I personally believe that Ingram Spark has this, indie publishing feature because I think it's a tax write-off because they don't need the money, which is great because that means they only charge you the at cost. That's it. And as an author who does my own design work for the most part, it's super cheap for me. So it takes more effort, but I get to save hundreds or even over $1,000 depending on, how much design work you need and yada yada. So the advantages. Ingram Spark, you can have your book in any brick and mortar, including Barnes & Noble, in the world. So Barnes & Noble, while they can have your book on their website if you publish through almost anyone else, they cannot actually have your book physically in the store unless you, as an independent, obviously if you're a traditionally published author, you can get your book in the store very easily. But if you are an indie who is going through, for example, BookBaby or another kind of press like that, you can have your book on their website, but you cannot have your book on the shelves. It's just, red tape, rules sort of thing. But if you're publishing directly through Ingram Spark, they can put you right on the shelf. The manager has to be inclined to order your book, but there is no red tape, no reason for them not to. Essentially, they just have to have some motivation to put it there. And that's amazing because I think most authors, particularly us independents, we love bookstores. We love the feel of a physical book in our hands, even if we read audiobooks or ebooks too, which I read. I also listen to audiobooks. I don't do ebooks. I don't like staring at a screen that long, but I do audiobooks as well, but nothing compares to physically holding a book and then that experience of walking through a bookstore and just seeing something and loving the cover and touching it and smelling it and all of that whole experience where you honestly form more of a personal connection with the book is magical. And that's what I believe probably every indie author out there wants for their books, is to have readers just discover them in that way. Ingram Spark allows you this opportunity. Other indie publishers out there, a lot of brick and mortars cannot, because of rules, yada yada, particularly big corporation bookstores like Barnes & Noble, can't order it because because of whatever rule it is. I don't know. That Spencer explained it to me, but I don't remember exactly. I didn't need to know the intricacies. It's just yes or no situation. So that's huge. The other is, of course, there is no question that you will own your ISBN number because you are purchasing it directly from the people who issue the ISBN numbers. So yeah. And at least right now, I don't know if this price fluctuates, but it's $85 per ISBN number. I believe that is a flat rate. It was the same for my paperback ISBN and my ebook ISBN. By the way, if you are publishing an ebook, so if you are publishing a paperback and ebook, even if it is the same manuscript, you do have to pay for 2 separate ISBN numbers because the electronic version is different from the paperback version, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I paid $85.85, which is, I think, $170, probably. And then I did all my own page layout, which, by the way, Ingram Spark does have an online tool and they do have templates you can use. They have a couple dozen at least. I didn't scroll through them that much because I did all my own design, but I did investigate. You can do your own cover building tool. They have it on the website where you can create your own cover, you can create your own page layout, and they do have templates for you to use. You don't have to be a designer, which is great. It's really, really helpful. And of course, if you are someone like me who already did their page layout and had everything ready to go, all I had to do was upload it and make sure that everything fit appropriately, and they send you a proof and it looks great. I did run through and I decided to use their builder a little bit just because I was curious to play with it, and I thought it was really functional. It was a bit of a learning curve for me because it was a new software, but it was very easy to figure out and to use. So I will say that. The only thing is, if you need a lot of hand-holding, Ingram Spark, they have email and they will email you back, but you can't call anyone. You can't call anyone, which is, I think, one of the reasons why so many indie presses are able, because they all publish through Ingram Spark. They have to. So all these other presses are just an extra step along the way if you go with someone else. Like when I went with BookBaby last year, the people at BookBaby just go to Ingram Spark and do exactly what you are skipping over a source, and you are going directly to the source when you are publishing through Ingram Spark. Again, the difference is customer service. Ingram Spark will answer your questions via email, but you can't call. There is no get on the phone, walk me through it, tell me like I'm 5. None of that. So if you are not somebody who is confident in that, then you might want to still use a publisher or, call a friend or something. So there is that. The other thing that I was extremely pleasantly surprised about, which I was not expecting, because even with all of this great stuff, I was anticipating that I would have to pay at least a couple $100s to publish the manuscript, which if you go through most indie presses, you're going to pay anywhere between $1,000 to $3,000, maybe even more. Honestly, that might be on the low end, since I always have done all my own design work or paid for my design work separate from a publisher. I just cut that part right out. If you're paying for design, it just goes up by a lot suddenly. So, because that's one of the most expensive parts of publishing. But I go through everything and make it pretty nice. I get to the end, and they're telling me that to publish both my ebook and my paperback, and I've already paid for both of my ISBN numbers, so that's done. Um, it was only $50. 50. Actually, it was like $49.49. I was flabbergasted. I was flabbergasted. I backed up. I went back through 3 times just to make sure there wasn't some weird glitch. And the Queen Witch, it's not, with all the pages included, including title page and about the author and da. It's 388 pages. This is not a skinny book. And it costs more to print books that are longer because obviously more ink, more paper. But it was $50. That's amazing. Other publishers you pay in the thousands, even if you have your own design and everything. And essentially, I've learned that all you're paying for is somebody to hold your hand. Because Ingram Spark, they don't advertise. I am absolutely convinced this is a tax write-off for them because they do not need this money. They literally own the list of every single book ever published in the entire world. So they don't need this money. It's probably a massive tax write-off for them, which, great. I am happy to participate in that. And that's wonderful. I will say that after the $50, when you go in, you also have the option, it is not mandatory, you have the option to pay for them to put your book on certain worldwide lists, like World Web, the library list, all these things. And you can petition to have it all done yourself. That's a lot of time and effort and sometimes fees. They charge you a flat rate of $150 to get your book on all of those lists worldwide, and I paid that. So yeah, so what was my grand total for publishing The Queen Witch? So it was, with the advertising that I paid for them to put my book on all the lists or the libraries to access and da. That was $150. $50 to publish. That's $200, and then $170 for both ISBN numbers. So that is $420 total. Done. That's a fraction of the cost of anyone else out there. And again, that $150, you don't have to do that. If you don't want to, depending on your goals, I'm trying to make it as an author so that I can live off of my writing. So of course I want my book to be out there, available, but some people just want to publish for the sake of publishing for themselves. And they don't necessarily have a goal to sell a lot of books. That's great too. You don't need to pay for that $150. It's amazing. So I'm really, really big into that. And your book automatically shows up on all the big places. Walmart.com, Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, boom, 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 boom. And all the other online retailers too. It's up there. It's just done. I love it. And it's fast. And another thing which is an advantage, is that when you go with other indie presses, at least in my personal experience, they will say, oh, well, when your book goes to publish, you have to order the majority of your author copies upfront, or it's better to do that because we're going to charge you more money to order more later. But if you order them now for your very first batch of them, it's less. And they make it seem like it's always that way, it's special. It's not always that way. That's price gouging. It's complete price gouging. Ingram Spark charges you the wholesale price for your book as the author indefinitely. In fact, when I was going through and I was looking to, because I just ordered one copy so far, and they just said, we suggest you order just one copy to start. This price will never change. Make sure you like everything when you get it. And you can always email us if you want to make changes previous to the release date. But they will never upcharge you, ever. It is the wholesale price for your book, indefinitely, doesn't change. So all those other indie publishers out there are price gouging you. It's a complete upsell for no other reason other than profit for them. Which, I understand they have to make money, but that's kind of a shitty way to make money. I don't like it. But I do love Ingram Spark. The disadvantage is, like I said, there's no phone customer service, and it is your own timeline. They are not going to push you around one way or the other. There is no marketing. Other than you paying the $150 to get your book on those lists, which, again, I strongly recommend if you're actually trying to have monetary gains or recognition for your book. But you are 100% responsible for marketing. Which is scary for a lot of people. Now, those other indie presses, they will absolutely charge you for marketing. They will charge you like $500 for doing social ads and things like that. At least that's some of the pricing I've seen. And we can get into the value of that or not. Long story short, pay a little bit, but don't go paying, choking up $500 for a Facebook ad situation. It's just not enough. It's just not you're not gonna see the return on it, unless you already have a name out there, which I personally don't. Not enough of a name anyway. So there is that. So you are fully responsible for your own marketing. You don't have somebody that you can call on the phone and say, help. And you're not going to hear back over the weekend because, the people who work for Ingram Spark work Monday through Friday, business hours. So that's when you're going to hear back from them. They're very good at responding during their business hours, and that's great. Expectations are very well managed, and they hold up their end of the bargain 100%. So yeah, huge fan. Huge fan. And as somebody who loves control and being a minor control freak, I have total control. You are the master of your book. Everything is yours. That's wonderful. Every little detail, 100% up to you. You choose the release date. You choose the pre-order date. You choose everything. Because Ingram Spark doesn't care. They're not making money off of you. They're just doing what they do for everyone else. You are paying the prices that the publishers pay. You're just doing it yourself. So if customer service is super important to you, I wouldn't recommend Ingram Spark. Again, they do respond well, but if you are the kind of person who's not comfortable, who needs the hand-holding, who wants somebody to guide them through marketing, yada, 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 it might not be the best option for you alone, but I would say that you would probably still get a better deal or have a better experience if you went on to Readsy or found somebody who can help, who can basically be your liaison, who can do all of the marketing, who can do all of that stuff for you, pay them privately, just a one-on-one, as opposed to going through one of the indie presses, because that's in most cases going to still be less expensive. You will get personalized attention because it's a one-on-one contract situation, and you will have someone who is holding your hand through the process. So if you need a handhold, I would still say go with Ingram Spark, but, hire a buddy. If that's what you need. Hire somebody who's been through it, who understands how to do it, and then they can do it for you if you need the help, or if you don't have time to do it. Maybe you know how to do it, but you're just like, I have 3 kids and a job and a husband and blah, blah, blah. That's fine. You're busy. But Ingram Spark is absolutely, they've been wonderful. I'm thrilled. The other thing that I wanted to mention, particularly with 21 Chieftains, as I said, so I did self-publish through Ingram Spark. However, I am also publishing through 21 Chieftains, which 21 Chieftains is basically that liaison. Now, it is a brand new press. The founder of the press and I, her name is Sarah. She's wonderful. And she also has a wonderful poetry book out called Behind Her City Eyes. And she's going to be publishing another, erotica, which is amazing. I'm very excited about that. And I'm working on the cover for that one as well, called Beyond the Table. She had some past experiences, which I'm hoping to have her on the podcast soon. If you're listening, Sarah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And she can actually tell you all about her personal experience with that. And she and I will talk about it. And she's a very dear friend of mine. And having 21 Chieftains, we'll talk more about how it came about and its backstory, but I chose to publish with 21 Chieftains through Ingram because having a publisher logo is actually still quite valuable. Because people just trust your book more. Even if they don't recognize the publisher, studies all show that if a book has a publisher logo on it, literally any publisher logo, on the back cover, where they always go, they're more likely to pick it up, they're more likely to trust that it's a good book, because even if they're not conscious that they feel that way, they've done this study where they take the same exact book with different covers, and one of the covers has a publisher logo on it, and one of them doesn't, but it's the same book. And people always say, oh, I think that's probably the better book. And it's the same exact book. But they're pointing at the one with the publisher's logo. So, if you are a poetry or fiction author who's looking to get published, then 21 Chieftains will be happy to hold your hand and happy to, they use Ingram Spark to publish through, and, obviously there will be some charging for the hand holding, but not nearly the amount of upcharging that other publishers or presses would. Plus, it's a New York-based press, which, again, it's a new press, but that's fantastic because New York is one of the at least top 3 biggest publishing cities in the world. When people think of books and publishing, New York is one of the first places they think about. London's another one. I don't know what the top 3 are, but I know that New York and London are way up there, and that is really important. So all of my books from here on out will be published with 21 Chieftains, and they're going to have the benefit of not only going through Ingram Spark to publish, meaning that I am saving money, I am saving time, I am creating my own timelines, doing what I want. Yay, podcast name. See what I did there? Ooh, ooh, ooh. But I also have the security of a publisher logo. And if I need some help, I can phone a friend. I can phone the publisher. I can phone them. I can phone Sarah, say, help me. And they will help. So I think that's where I am right now, and I am feeling really pleased about it. I hope that you've enjoyed this podcast, part 2 of the self-publishing journey. I might be going on a part 3 next year. Who knows? Who knows where everything will take me? But yeah, I'm really thrilled, and I would really encourage you all to, if you're thinking about self-publishing, to at least look into it. It's really, they don't do advertising, but just Google Ingram Spark self-publishing and pops right up. You will find it. You can read about it. They're very transparent about all of their process, their terms, everything. They have nothing to hide. They have no reason to hide anything. They're Ingram Spark. They already own it. They've got the list. They've got us all on lockdown already. They do not need to hide a single thing from anyone, which is great. I love transparency. So you can look at Ingram Spark, talk to friends, feel out what is best for you, because that is really what is most important in self-publishing. Is you have to find what suits your needs best. And for some people, that is an indie press that you spend more money on, but they hold your hand and they just do more for you. So if you do not have the time or inclination or skill set to do as much for yourself, then maybe it wouldn't be exactly the right journey. But even in that case, I would still recommend finding a private contractor or a press like 21 Chieftains that will still publish through Ingram Spark and only charge you for that hand-holding and not do the crazy upcharging situation. You'll be charged for the help, but you won't be price gouged. And that's great. That's great. You'll basically just need to cover costs. and I think that is a really nice balance, because, most people aren't made of money. If I had a money tree, or, just a lot of it stashed away somewhere, or a pile of gold, yeah, I'd be a little less concerned, but I'm not any of those things. So, nor do I have traditional publishers knocking down my door. But at this point, honestly, I don't think I'd want a traditional pub. But that is a story for another time. I am going to wrap this episode up. I need to actually go have a tea time session with my very dear friends. And yeah, next episode will be coming April 16th. I have no idea what I'm doing yet. Happy Passover, happy Easter, happy whatever your holiday or non-holiday you are possibly celebrating. Or actually, I guess I'm Catholic. I was raised Catholic, so today's Palm Sunday. Woo, happy Palm Sunday if you are of that inclination. But yeah, just happy day to all. And don't forget, pre-order your copy of The Queen Witch, coming in April 20th, but pre-order. Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Walmart.com has it. Probably Target too. Please, go do that. You will make me very, very happy. Thank you so much for listening.